Today, we need to have a very real, very unfiltered conversation about a topic that the mainstream sports media loves to sugarcoat. Lately, we have seen a massive influx of women getting hired as assistant coaches in the NFL and the NBA. People are hyping this up, saying it's only a matter of time before we see a woman break the glass floor to become the head coach of a major men's professional team. But I'm going to give it to you straight. It would actually be a terrible idea, and it is never going to happen. Today, we're going to break down the cold, hard science, the toxic reality of the locker room, and why this experiment is fundamentally doomed to fail. First, let's get one thing out of the way. I am not saying these women don't know the sport. A lot of people love to point to what NBA legend Pau Gasol said about Becky Hammon. He literally wrote in the Players' Tribune, "I'm saying she can coach NBA basketball, period. They have the basketball IQ. But having a high sports IQ does not mean you are equipped to handle a locker room full of grown men." NFL legend Mike Ditka has explicitly expressed skepticism about this, questioning if the toughness of the NFL environment can actually translate across genders. Former NFL linebacker Lance Briggs said it even more bluntly about male spaces. "I don't think women should be in the locker room. The locker room is the place where us guys, us football players, we dress, we shower, we're naked, we're walking around." Radio legend Mike Francesa framed it as just basic reality, saying, "Not everybody is attuned or designed to do every single job. That's not being stone-aged. That's just being reasonable. I'm just looking at this with some modicum of common sense." This isn't just my opinion. It comes down to neurobiology and the scientific difference in how men and women are motivated. The chemical drivers. Men generally have way higher levels of testosterone, which is neurochemically linked to dominance and status seeking. In a highly competitive environment, men are motivated by hierarchical standing, being the alpha or the top dog. The stress response. When things get heated, men are biologically more inclined toward the fight or flight response. The female contrast. Women typically show higher sensitivity to oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and often process rewards through social validation and relational cohesion. Under stress, women tend to move towards social manipulation and protection. You cannot take a collaborative, relationship-based coaching style and force it onto an alpha male environment. It's not necessarily the women's fault at all, they are just entering a space dominated by high testosterone males. But at the end of the day, you cannot change a man's nature. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. If a woman is the head coach, the men in that locker room are going to try to have sex with her. One veteran NBA coach bluntly told The Athletic, "By and large, the NBA is an incredibly sexist environment. You can't have a hot woman in the NBA. Guys will be trying to hump her every day." Former NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas echoed this exact sentiment, arguing that putting a beautiful woman in front of a bunch of guys making millions is an undeniable distraction. He said, "Now you have to worry about if the players are going to be professional." For us who've played sports, we understand. I know exactly how things get because I've been in high school and college locker rooms. In my personal life, I've literally seen men place bets on who can have sex with a certain woman first. I've even seen guys place bets on who could sleep with each other's girlfriends first. You think it would be any different with a female coach? It wouldn't. They would basically be putting bounties on the coach's head to see who could sleep with her first. The men will do it just for the clout, for the status, and to collect the bounty. And don't tell me professional boundaries will stop them. I personally know a woman who works in sports, and she's had sex with some of the players. Any woman in proximity to these teams becomes a target. Just look at Rick Pitino back in 2003. He literally had a sexual encounter with the wife of his team's equipment manager, leading to a massive extortion attempt. Whenever you mix these sexual dynamics with professional sports, it destroys the locker room. The leagues are filled with examples of players betraying each other and losing focus over women. Tony Parker and Brent Barry. In 2010, it came out that Tony Parker had a long-term sexting relationship with the wife of his Spurs teammate, Brent Barry. Former NBA personality Tommy Roman famously said, "To be involved with another teammate's wife, that's just like hands off. That really is disgusting." Derek Fisher and Matt Barnes. In 2015, Matt Barnes drove 95 miles to physically beat up his former teammate Derek Fisher because Fisher started dating Barnes' estranged wife. Barnes later said, "Violence is never the answer, but sometimes it is." The LeBron rumor. During the 2010 playoffs, rumors exploded that Delonte West was having an affair with LeBron James's mother. Hall of Famer Calvin Murphy said on record, "It ain't no rumor. How can you play ball? Oh my God." The Toni Braxton myth. In the 90s, the Mavericks had a young super team with Jason Kidd and Jim Jackson, but rumors say they got into a massive feud and destroyed the team because they were both waiting in a hotel lobby for a date with Toni Braxton, and she chose Jackson, Paul George, and Roy Hibbert. In 2014, the Pacers looked like title favorites until rumors erupted that Paul George slept with Roy Hibbert's fiancée. Hibbert's performance plummeted historically, and the team's chemistry died. Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns. When Jimmy Butler forced his way out of Minnesota, rumors swirled that he had been involved with Karl Anthony Towns' girlfriend. Even if it was just a rumor, one scout noted, once that kind of rumor enters a locker room, the trust is gone. You can't pass the ball to a guy if you're thinking about that. Iggy Azalea and the Lakers. Nick Young was engaged to Iggy Azalea until his own teammate, D'Angelo Russell, secretly recorded a video of Young admitting to cheating. It was one of the most toxic locker room moments in Lakers history. Players even date the same women constantly. Kendall Jenner has dated at least 5 NBA players. Larsa Pippen dated Malik Beasley, and then Beasley got traded to the Lakers, where he literally had to share a locker room with Larsa's son. Khloe Kardashian has been linked to 4 different players, and James Harden literally told Sports Illustrated, "I didn't like all the attention. It was unnecessary. It was affecting my teammates." Even when the relationship is completely public and consensual, it causes massive issues. Look at Jeannie Buss and Phil Jackson. They dated for 17 years while she was in the Lakers front office, and he was the head coach. The NBA literally forced them to sign a legal document stating they wouldn't talk about basketball to prevent collusion, and it caused massive rifts within the Lakers organization and the Buss family. If players and coaches are already causing this much drama over the women they date outside the facility, imagine the toxicity of them all competing for the head coach. Now, people always ask, well, men coach women's basketball all the time. Why isn't that a problem? Combined between the WNBA and NCAA Division I women's basketball, men have won 72 championships. It works because the dynamic is completely reversed. The women players aren't anxiously trying to sleep with their older male coaches, and they certainly don't get any clout from doing it. But with men, it's completely different. And we've never had this distraction problem with male coaches leading men because, for the most part, the men in these leagues are not gay. So, to wrap this up, bringing a female head coach into a men's professional locker room will never happen, and it shouldn't. It is way too big of a distraction. Men and women are motivated completely differently on a scientific level, and the men will inevitably try to have sex with her. It would turn the workplace into a toxic nightmare, lead to massive HR issues, and destroy the team's focus. The novelty of having female assistants is one thing, but putting a woman as the absolute head of a men's team is a recipe for a disaster. What do you think? Could a woman be the head coach of a men's team? Let me know in the comments. This is ASED. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.